Hi guys, welcome. Dan here from the Magic Junk Drawer. So this is about one of my friends who has since, I haven't even spoken to her in years. She got married, she moved away. We're talking about a long time ago that this happened. But I feel like this might help somebody who is going through something like this, because I just spoke to somebody recently that was going through a tough situation and this came up. So I wanted to tell this story. A very good friend of mine who I spent a lot of time with, and we did a lot of these spiritual journeys together. So we spent a lot of time talking about things. And I wasn't friends with her at the time because she was a good couple of years older than me. I was friends with her younger sister. So I didn't know her well while this was happening, but I knew her after it happened. She had been dating this guy for a long time, and when she was young, I think she maybe started dating him at 17 or 18, something like that. She dated him for like 5, 6, 7 years, something like that. They had planned to get married. They went and looked at rings. They were looking at houses, that kind of stuff. And they broke up. But this is what happened. First, she broke up with him. And when she was telling me the story, she said to me, it got to the point where I couldn't stand the way he was breathing. I couldn't stand the way he ate his food. I couldn't stand his mannerisms. Sometimes I would look at him and I just wanted to stab him. And she was like, it was so over. I was so done with him. And it wasn't because he was a bad person. He didn't cheat on her. He didn't beat her. He didn't do anything bad. It was just the relationship had run its course and it was just over. So she said she broke up with him. She went to see him one night. She broke up with him. And she left the house and she felt okay. And then like a week or so later, I don't know if he called her or she called him, but they wound up getting back together again, which is common. Sometimes it's like, people feel like, well, at least I know what I got with this person, even if it's not something that I want, even though it's not something that I'm, it's better than being alone. All right? So they get back together. And then like a week or two later, he dumps her. Now remember, she couldn't stand this guy. She wanted to stab him. She falls into this depression that is like beyond belief. And she said to me, now this is her years later looking back on it, she said to me, I knew I didn't want to be with him. I knew I would be unhappy if I married him. But for some reason, I had this gut feeling that if I let him go, I would never be with anyone again. And then she would follow it up with, and I was right. Because that's exactly what happened. She let go of him. He dumped her. And the way some breakups go, like the family's involved and the family wants to keep the couple together, and it doesn't make matters any better because listen, just because your mother likes your girlfriend isn't going to make you love her. It's like, your mother doesn't have to live with her or him or whatever the situation is. You know what I mean? So I don't know why families get involved, but I know they mean well. But, it doesn't make a difference if grandma likes him. If you don't like him, it ain't gonna happen. Or it's no way to live, in my opinion. So they had, his mother was like sending her cards and that kind of shit. And it was a little bit of a struggle. And she was very depressed over it. Now she knew she didn't want to be with him. She just had such a feeling that she was going to be alone forever. That this is what she created. And she was single for many years. And and then like it became a joke. We're very sarcastic, me and all of my friends. So we would always follow up with like, oh, and I was right. Like my mother would say things to me like, what do you think? He cares about you? And then I would say this to one of my friends and I would be like, yeah, and you know what? She was right. So of course nobody cared about me because that was the belief I was putting out there. Just like my friend here who believed she was going to be alone forever, and she was for a very long time. So when this guy showed up, it was years later. I don't know exactly how many, but it was a long time. She almost tried to push him away at first because she was so uncomfortable with the whole dynamic, because you go for so many years of feeling rejected, feeling not good enough, feeling like nobody will ever want you, And that's what you keep creating. And now somebody shows up and you're supposed to make them feel you're supposed to be able to accept this. No, it's like you almost want to push it away. So if you're experiencing something like this, first of all, if you're experiencing the whole I'm never going to be with anyone ever again, you need to get one of the affirmation tapes, because that's not true. And you have to change that belief first, because the more you keep putting it out there, that's what you're going to keep getting back. And you're going to keep finding yourself in situations. Now, when we used to laugh about this, she had a friend. I'm going to change the girl's name, even though I don't know her. I never met her. Let's just say her name was Martha. Martha dated this guy, Dan. And Dan dumped her. And this girl was so sure that they were going to be together that she used to pull all these crazy stunts. She would show up at his house. She would climb in through his window. He was dating somebody else. And he was like, listen, Martha, leave me alone. And he would like right to the point tell her. And she believed so much that they were going to be together that, you know what happened? He married her. Now, I don't know, maybe he was just like, I just can't take this anymore. I'm going to give up here because I ain't got the will to keep throwing her out of my room every night. But I don't know how it went down. Like I said, I didn't know the girl. I just heard the story. But the point is that if you look at these two people, and I'm not saying that anyone should do what Martha did, because I think it's terrible to chase someone like that or to force somebody to be with you, you know, like let it breathe a little bit. But what I'm saying is like these two women came from very different places. One came from no one is ever going to want me, and the other one came from there is no way you're not going to want me. So they got very different results for a very long time. Now, I don't know what happened. I don't know if they wound up getting divorced 10 years later or 5 years later. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know the girl. I just heard the story secondhand. But this may be something that you're experiencing. So take notice of what it is that you're feeling about the situation and see if you can change the way you feel about the situation. Because the truth is that there was a point in Martha's life where her situation changed. There was a point in my friend's life where her situation changed. So not everything has to stay the same forever, even though it may feel that way at the time. You know, when you look back on things and you're like, oh, well, I didn't have a job for a month, just say. Well, for that month, money was probably very tight and it's very scary and you don't know how you're going to make ends meet. But 5 years later, when you have a job and you look back and you're like, well, I was unemployed for a month, people will say, oh, well, that's not that big of a deal, because there are some people that have been unemployed for 3 months or 2 years or whatever it is. So sometimes looking back on it, it's not as bad as when you were actually going through it. You can see things a little bit clearer. Hindsight's 2020. So if you're experiencing this kind of stuff, try to change what you believe about the situation, and whatever the feeling is, turn it into a positive. Nobody will ever want to be with me. I have many people that would like to be with me. Just try to change it into a positive, no matter what it is. I don't even care if you don't believe it as you're saying it. You keep saying it to yourself, you're going to start to believe it. All right, if you like what we're doing here at the Magic Junk Drawer, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.